Hello everyone, I am Manashwini. So let's start our topic. But before that, as it's a long gap, I hope you people are very well and also studying properly so that you can achieve whatever you want. At least you guys will be able to, you know, be that label of intellect person who always be able to hold yourself so that you won't be bullied by anybody. Okay, so let's start. So what we are going to study today is the food, right? You must have eaten something today. Without eating you cannot thrive, right? If you are like fasting continuously, there is a urge in your mind to have some shorter food, right? And what exactly the reason ki we want some sort of food? Is it like just a wish, or it's mandatory for us? Can you guys guess? So basically, some people consider food as their wish, and sometimes we call them as foodies. But however, this food is mandatory for us. Without having food, we cannot thrive. Or if we are living, let's say someone can say ki I can live on having only drinking, by drinking water and some sort of juice, uh, or something like that. If you are considering about juice, it's also sometimes contain your fruits, which are like they can be eaten as food as well, right? So what is the conclusion? That all that thing is, we need food to live as well as to grow, to do the day to day activities, right? So now we need to know where exactly this food is coming from, and this is the name of your chapter, that is food. And where does it come from, right? So let me ask you one simple question: what's your favorite food? Have you eaten something like today? Are you having like a rice, or you know, you can say chapati, or did you consumed biryani, or anything, whatever, like you had your breakfast, lunch, what things you consume, you can like comment. Basically what we are going to learn here is ki exactly what are the components that are being there in your food, whichever thing you are consuming, whether this food is similar in every region or they are different. Also we are going to like distinguish between the source from where we are having this foods. So let's start here. First, what we have here, the book is provided a activity asking you all to list down the items that are that you have eaten or would be eating during a day, and it's a activity for you and your friends. Like here you can see there are several items or cuisines that are present here, right? It's a food item. First here is idli, then I guess this is the sambar and chutney, and this is some sort of curry. Then here you are having the fishes. Similarly you guys can list down and also ask your parents or your friends, relatives to enter into this thing, so that it will give you more clarity and you will having a greater fun. Fine. And similarly, after doing that, whatever they have eaten, you have to find out the ingredient in the sense ki when we are having rice, let's say for example, or rice is a like common example. Let's say I'll take chicken. How many of your how many of you guys are fond of having chicken? Do you guys like this chicken? Okay. So for cooking the chicken cuisine, what we require is first the chicken or the hen. Then what we require is some onions, garlic, then spices, ginger, oil. So all these are required for making our chicken curry, right? So this chicken, then onion, the spices that are required along with the oils, these are nothing but the ingredients or the material that are required to prepare a dish. Fine. Similarly, you can find out whatever food you have eaten and what are the ingredients that are there for it. For example, here it's mentioning that chapati, which is made up of atta and water. So, what atta? That is the grinded form of your wheat, right? You all know na? This atta comes from your wheat. Then here is dal. So dal is made up of pulses. It may be gram, or it may be pea, or it may be urad dal, anything like. So similarly, they are having their ingredients. So we have discussed like I took the example of chicken. Then you here is the example of dal. So can you distinguish between like where from or what is the source from where we are getting the two things like chicken and your dal thing? So basically dal is a plant product, or you can say urad dal, or any sort of legume that we are having is nothing but they are coming from plant, definitely, right? You must have seen uh, farmers cultivating lands with the legume plants. And the chicken or the hen, it's a animal thing, complete animal. We are killing an animal to get its meat, right? Similarly, here it is mentioning like fruits, vegetables. You may like fruits and vegetable, they are definitely coming from plant. And we can you say like milk or butter, ghee, whether they are also coming from plant? Yes, you guess it right. Of course not. They are coming from animal. So we are getting egg, milk, meat, everything from animal. That means the source of our food is both plant and animal. Fine. Moving on, we now have another activity. Are you guys excited? Fine. So let's see what exactly this activity tells us to do. Let us take the food item listed earlier and try to find out where they come from, the ingredients and their sources. So it's easy. We can skip this one. Now, you can see here we are having a plant, complete plant, and we are having the distinction between here the root system, and the below part is the root system, and root system comprises of your primary root and the secondary root. So primary root, basically this long one is the primary root. That means this root arised first when the plant germinate or the seed germinates. The first root that arises is called as your primary root. Then after the growth, there are several subsidiary branches that are developed from this primary root, and this is called as your secondary root, right? Then shoot system. So shoot system has several elements, you can say. For example, here is the stem, and the stem is again differentiated into several parts. For example, here is the node, and in between this node there is the space which is called as the internode, right? Then we are having this leaf. Have you guys seen this leaf? Does every plant have this leaf? You can answer me. Let's continue. And then it's having the flowers and finally the fruits. Okay, this is the total structure of a plant. Now what happens ki sometimes we may use the root as a source of our food. For example, you can say the radish, though they are modified stems, but still they are below the you know uh, below the soil, and they are having the roots structures as well. And sometimes we use leaves. For example, you can take palak, that is the spinach leaves you are consuming. Palak paneer, have you guys eaten? Who is fond of this thing? I don't like that. I like palak, but I hate palak paneer. So similarly, you can relate ki whether you have ever eaten any other leaves as well. Okay. Then fruits, like you are fruits eating. For example, sorry, there is apple, orange, and a lot of fruits you can name, right? Then we are having vegetables. They are also the products of trees. Then we can say like what are the animal products. So animal product we can list first is milk and other milk related products. For example, your butter, ghee, curd. Anything else? Yogurt. Anything? Can you like memorize anything? For the time being, I can recall only these things. If I am getting something, then I'll definitely tell you guys. Okay. Then comes your meat, which is also animal product. Then we can say anything, which are we whichever thing we are using as. Yes, there is egg. We are taking egg is highly proteinous. Yes, the doctors are prescribing to eat it daily. One egg should be eaten daily, right? So these are the animal products. Fine. Moving on. So now we know that we can consume or we can take both plant and animal as the source for our food. So let me ask you one question. Can you can you now tell me whether we are only using one part of a plant as food? Can we use two three parts of a plant as our food to be consumed? So that's true. Or not only just there are several plant whose leaves as well as sometimes seeds are used, or there are plants whose every part is being consumed as our food. So here we have an example of your mustard whose seeds and leaves are being used. Similarly, the whole plant except your roots of spinach are being used for uh, used as food, and there is radish to the whole plant we are eating, right? Similarly, you can think about other examples, and if you fill, then you can write it down. I'll definitely check. Then here is a interesting question, that is there any other source where we can, or anything that we can consider as our food other than a plant and animal? Interesting one. So can you name it? Okay, let me tell you that sometimes you are eating mushroom. So some people may be fond of having mushroom. So mushroom is something which is not a plant and or a animal. Similarly, I will like you to I would like to know all other example that you guys can give which is a source of our food but it's not animal or uh, plant product. Okay. Now the next activity. What it's mentioning is from all the ever food item you have listed, from your family members and the first list you have mentioned, you have to identify the items as well as the plant parts. Please do it yourself, it will be more fun. Now fifth activity is take some dry sets of moong or chana, and what you have to do, you have to pour a little amount of water and then leave it for a day. Then what you will see there are there will be some white thread like thing that are arising from these sets, and these are called as the sprouts. Okay, and you can drain the all the water and you can have this sprouts as it is, or you can cook it, and these are having very much, there's a high content of protein, and they are very much healthy if you are consuming during the morning hour. Fine. uh, how many of you like honey? Do you guys love to have honey? So what is this honey? Honey is nothing but all the nectars that the honey bee collects. It is the stored form of the nectars that the honeybee collects from the flowers, because the flowers are flourishing during a certain period of time, right? So the honeybee have to store it so that it can, or it will having its food throughout the day, the way you guys store during the, if there is a emergency situation. For example, in Odisha, if there is a call for there will be cyclone or severe cyclonic storm will be there, so people rush to market so that they can buy food and store them. Similarly, the honeybee does stores its food uh, in the form of honey in their hives, and from these hives we collect this nectar honey. So this is about all about like our foods, right? Ki whatever thing we are eating. Now can you say ki what animals do like to eat? For example, you may having a dog in your house, or you may have any pet like cat, or you can take a look around. There are birds, other creatures. What do they like to eat? For example, someone can say ki the cat loves to uh, eat fish, rats. In similar way, just have a look around you and tell like whatever other animal like to eat. Okay, can please fill all this thing. And depending upon the food habit, we can categorize the living organism into three categories. For example, your herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore. So who are herbivore? Herbivore are the one which depends on plants only for their food, right? And who are carnivores? They are someone who consume some other animal as their food, and they just eat plants, no plant, right? Then you can say ki this is a carnivore. So examples, who is the example? Here carnivores are lions or tiger or leopard, cheetahs. So they are the carnivores. Then omnivore. What is omnivore? Omnivore means they can consume plant plus any animal product or a animal. These are called as the omnivores. The best example of omnivore is the humans, right? They can eat anything. So this is all about the total class. So the keywords are given here, right? And the most important thing, that is the categorization of organism based on their food habits. Just try to remember it or learn it. Then there is this sprouts. Sprout is nothing but the germinated seed, right? Then here is a nectar. You know, nectar is nothing but the things that are collected by the honeybee from the flower itself. Okay, that's all about the total chapter. Here is the summary you can go through, and please do all the exercises that are given, and thank you.